What is up, guys? It's Ivaldi Sako. Welcome to this business mindset self-improvement show. Today, we'll talk about whatever you saw in the title of this podcast and the 3 steps to create change in your life and make massive progress in your life, in your goals, how your perception affects your results in business and in life, one of the biggest threats to your dreams, to your goals, and how to counter it. And the 2 simple words, and I'm not kidding with this, the 2 simple words that can change radically the course of your life. If you say them and you mean them, they will change your life. I don't tell you what it is. It's a combination of 2 different words. It's a really useful. I hope you are well. If you don't know who I am, my name is Ivaldi Sako. I went from not wanting to live anymore to going in business with a guy making $300,000 a month, and then going into business myself. It's been about 3 years now, and all I do on here is document my journey, because I went from not wanting to live anymore to all of this just thanks to online content. It made me discover that I could become an entrepreneur, become better, maybe grow a lot, and I hope to help as many people as possible with this podcast, sharing my journey, my learnings. And my mission is just to inspire, motivate, and educate as many people as possible. If you want to become truly free, successful, have a better life, improve your life, this show is for you, basically. And I would suggest you subscribe right now. Do not forget and miss the next episodes. And if you have watched some of my previous podcasts, you'll know that I don't just talk of things that just don't bring you any value. I think I bring a pretty good amount of useful things for you to use in your life. So I think it would be very useful for you to subscribe and not forget. And this show is very valuable, but it's not free. It's not really free. You gotta pay a fee, a small fee, but a fee that is really very useful for me and for other people that will be able to discover the podcast thanks to you sharing the show. This is the fee. If you got some value out of this podcast, please share the show. This is the only thing I ask. And if you didn't get any value out of this, please don't share the show, right? So if you agree with this, let's continue. Let's get into it. So basically what I do is just sharing my week, sharing my thoughts, my learnings during this week. So I have a couple of things that I've noted, that I've written on my phone. I'm going to tell you about those things, and I think they're going to be pretty useful for you, especially if you want to grow, if you want to have a better life. And my God, how hot it is here. I'm recording this in my car if you're just listening to this podcast, and it's very, very hot. I regret doing this here. It's just like insanely hot. I'm going to be drinking a lot of water, so sorry for that in advance. So this week I made the best change in my life that made me progress so fast. Like, I'm not kidding with you. It's just like, it's insane. I've been trying to do this for like months, and I haven't succeeded at. What this is waking up at 5 a.m. Now, it's not about waking up at 5 a.m. For you, it's going to be the different things. I'm going to be telling you about what it is for you, like how to find the thing for you. But for me, it was this. And I was waking up at 5 a.m. for, I think a couple of months. At one point, like 2 years ago, something like this, or maybe 3. And I stopped, and haven't been able to wake up at 5 a.m. since then. And it's not me not trying. I've tried a lot of times. It didn't work. At one point, I was like kind of tired of it, and I decided, like, okay, what? I was reading the book, The One Thing, and the book, it tells you about this one thing that will make you the most amount of progress possible towards your goals. This one thing that if you did, everything else will be easier or unnecessary. And so I'm already really thirsty. Sorry, guys. And so this one thing, for me, at one point, I saw that I needed more time, really focused. Very, very focused and unwavered, like focused, like unwavering focus, like be completely all in on my work, to be able to do really great deep work. And so if I did this one thing, it would be like amazing, the progress I would make. And this thing was waking up at 5 a.m. while sleeping well, because I was able to wake up at 5 a.m. multiple times, but sleeping 6 hours. And I was pretty much tired all day. I couldn't sustain that, so it was not useful. I wanted to sleep really well and wake up at 5 a.m. to be able to, get the most amount of things done. The way I got to this answer is because if you saw the last podcast, which I think was pretty useful, as all of my podcasts, of course, and I got to the point, okay, what would make me the most amount of progress, right? What is the one thing that if I did would make everything else easier or unnecessary? To me, in my sleep, it was, in my life, it was sleeping earlier, right? And I asked myself a second time the question, okay, what could I do to make me, what would be the one thing if I did would make everything else easier or unnecessary to be able to sleep early? And I found the answer to that. And this was eating earlier. And so I did that. But it was not the only catalyst, let's say. Because the catalyst was, there's 3 steps. So I told you about it. Okay, the 3 steps to change your life. And these are the things. The first step, I just told you that. Is asking yourself this question. What is the one thing that if I did, everything else would be easier or necessary? And whatever you want. To sleep early, in my business, to be able to work better, right? To me, to work better, it was waking up at 5 a.m. energized. And so I asked myself the second time the question. I saw that, okay, the second answer is I need to eat earlier. So I ate 1 hour earlier than usual, and it worked. But it didn't work alone. The second step is to get yourself in a bad situation that you would hate and despise. A situation that you would be disgusted by. And I got myself in this situation. Unfortunately, it was not really, proactively. I just happened to be in this situation because I messed up. And honestly, I don't know if it's not a good thing that you would put yourself in this situation proactively, intentionally go and put yourself in a bad situation, a situation that you would just despise, that you would hate, you would be so disgusted by, that it would make you actually change. And so to me, at one point, I have a rule, right? I have a rule to not use the internet after 8 p.m. Not be distracted, be fully focused, to be able to work, to be able to, sleep and have my mind off of things and be able to sleep early and wake up early, right? So this was the rule. And Tuesday, I didn't respect this rule. I don't know why. The thing that made me not respect this rule is just the little curiosity, right? I had an idea. And so I had an idea about, okay, maybe I could do this. Oh, I'm going to get a little bit of information on that. Okay, so I went on the internet, broke my rule at 8:05, right? 8:05 p.m. I broke my rule. I was like, just a little bit, right? Just a little bit. That's a key phrase. Just a little bit. Always start your addiction like this. Always start on the wrong path this way. Just a little bit. And so, just a little bit, I went on the internet. And I end up seeking more and more information. Next thing you know, it's 10 p.m. Not kidding you. And so I was like, oh man. I mean, how much worse can it get than that? I may as well get as much information as possible on this thing, right? And so I got more information. 11 p.m. Midnight. Not kidding you. It's been a while since I went to bed at midnight. And I was like, oh my God, this is so bad. And at that point, I didn't have the willpower anymore to stop. I was getting hooked, addicted to just seeking out new information. And it's kind of the randomness of, okay, maybe I'm going to discover something new right now that will make me, boom, progress a lot, make me achieve my goals easier, right? In an easier way. And so I kept on going up until 3 a.m. I'm not kidding you. I could have went on like for 24 hours. Like, it was crazy. I was crazy at this point. I was like unconscious. I don't know. I was like, keep going. And I was not getting tired. And I was like, my God, this is weird. When you're interested in something, when you're like, curiosity is good, could be a good energy. But at the same time, like at this point, it was not the right use of my time. At the end of the day, I didn't make much progress at all. Like it wasn't useful, but it was useful for something. It was useful when I realized the mistake I did. It was useful when I realized I had messed up big time and this was not possible anymore. I didn't want this to happen anymore. And so I was really disgusted. And I decided at this point, I was like, no more. That's it. I'm done. Tomorrow, the most important thing that I will do is sleep at 9 p.m. At 9 p.m., I'll be asleep. And I was like really disgusted. I was like, oh my God, this is bad. And so I made myself regret that. I slept only 6 hours, right? I didn't like sleep in. I slept 6 hours. Still like more than, I still woke up later next day, but I was tired, right? So boom, like I was punished for this. Maybe not the best thing ever, but like I needed to do that to be able to sleep earlier the next morning. And so I did that. Next morning, my only focus, my number one priority, the first and most important thing was sleeping early. I didn't care about anything else. If I didn't get done anything else, it wouldn't be a problem. Just sleep at 9 p.m. was just that. And so I did. I slept at 9 p.m. I woke up the next morning at 5. And when I woke up at 5, it was just so productive. I woke up, had the best night ever. There was a mood in 5 a.m. I had a certain like vibe that I liked it. I enjoyed myself. I was like great. And oftentimes, this is when great moments happen. When you make the most amount of progress in your life, this is when it is. This is the moment when you make the most amount of progress in your life. When you go below your normal standard. When you go below a certain expectation that you have of yourself. When you go in a bad situation. When you are in a bad rut. You fall short on your goals. You fall short on your expectations. You do something that you wouldn't be proud of. And you go at a so low level that you're disgusted by yourself. It makes you say to yourself, I'm done. Those are the two words. I'm done. I'm not doing this anymore. That's it. It's the emotion of being resolved. You're decided. You don't care about anything else anymore. When you're resolved, it's almost like you're angry. It's almost like nothing else matters. Like you can't be stressed and resolved at the same time. At least I never am. I'm never stressed out and resolved at the same time. When I'm resolved, everything like it's just like doesn't matter. I'm done. Like I don't care. If I were to die right now, I'm just like I'm so tired and sick of this. I'm done. Like I don't take it anymore. I can't take it anymore. This is the emotion and the two words that you need to have. When you mean it, everything changes. When you mean that, everything changes. You can do incredible things when you actually say those two words and mean them. It creates an energy inside of you that you just are propelled by. It's just like, it's something that gives you so much momentum that you just like any obstacles, you just plow right through them. It's just like everything opens up for you because you don't care. You're gonna get this done. It's like people are scared of stopping you, and things like events are just like they're not stopping you anymore. Like you decided, you're done, and you're focused on that thing, and you wherever focus goes, energy flows. Right? Famous quote, and this is true. I focus on sleeping at 9 p.m. I got it. My energy flowed toward that, and I actually slept at 9 p.m. Also, I envisioned myself sleeping at 9 p.m. I was imagining that taking place because I was resolved. I was so done with the other possibilities. I was like, this can't happen anymore. This was so below my norms, my personal standards. I was like, for a long time, sleeping at night at 10, 11 p.m. max. I went so further above that. I slept at 3 p.m. Never happened for years. And it was actually from my lack of discipline. And discipline is a very high value to me. I was so disgusted by this action, by this lack of discipline, that I just like decided. I was like, no, impossible. I can't take this anymore. I'm doing this. Tomorrow, 5 a.m., I'm up. Tonight, 9 a.m., 9 p.m., I'm asleep. And so I did that. When you do this, it shifts your perspective of what's possible. Now, it always happened to me that I always go down, I always mess up before doing something great, before actually making progress. Like I was in a slump. It was like going below and then boom, you shoot back up. Notice the times when you go back, when you go down. Notice them. When you feel down, when you're like in a bad mood, you're just acting like in a way that you shouldn't act, doing things that you shouldn't do. Notice when you do a lot of that, at one point, the trend starts to reverse itself and you go way back up. And it's just amazing to see. Sometimes you get those downs, you get those opportunities. Like when you go down, it's an opportunity for you to get back up. Like actually, it's not a problem. It's an opportunity. Actually, I think the word opportunity, the word problem in Chinese has a similar character than in the word opportunity. Like it's like something that's very like correlated. A problem is an opportunity for you to get better. Like it actually is, because if you solve this problem, now you have the skill of solving this problem. Now you have the competency, now you have the character trait, the ability to be able to solve this problem, to be able to become better and to not have this problem anymore and just take on new and more advanced problems that will make you, further ahead. And to notice them, because I know that I had before opportunities to get back up, to be resolved, but I didn't take them. Because I was not completely over, like I was not done. I didn't have this resolved. I was not really so down that I couldn't take it anymore. I was a little down, but it was okay, right? I was still comfortable. I was not too far below my personal standard. Sleeping at 3 p.m., sleeping at 3 a.m. for me was like so below. I just like, the emotion was there. Like it was not like really emotional. It was, no, that's it. I'm done. Okay, I'm stopping messing up right now. I'm done. Boom. I'm saying I'm done a lot right now. But yeah, if you can put yourself actively in a situation, or maybe just unconsciously, just let yourself a little loose, right? And put yourself in a situation that you can't take it anymore. Sometimes people need to lose a lot to feel like they've been messing up too much to then get back up. Sometimes, like, if an obese person goes above a certain weight that their expectations think is normal, like, for example, they used to be 200 pounds. At one point, they got to 250 pounds. And it's like, oh my God, that's too much. Like, they went way over. And at this point, boom, it clicks. They are resolved. At this point, you create change. At this point, you create tremendous progress. I want to say infinite progress, but it's only infinite as much as you stay resolved, as you remember the emotion, as you remember why you made that decision and the emotion that came with it. If you don't remember, you will forget. And if you forget, you will start falling back down. And this is why most people don't stay in an upward trend. It's always like up and down, up and down. Why? Because you do something, like you remember right now that you're done. And so you do something to stop being in this situation. You get back up and then you forget. And so you go back down. Now the best thing is to not forget at all, but most of the time you're going to forget. So you want to forget less, or make this, curve like faster. Like, realize sooner that you're going down and then be done faster. And this is just about increasing your personal standards. Every single time you mess up, okay, right now I'm done. Like, after 10 p.m., it's impossible for me to like sleep after 10 p.m. It's always before 10 p.m., right? Before it was like, okay, to go after 11 p.m., right? Now, impossible. Like, it's just like my personal standard. And I need to remember that. I need to constantly keep track of that. And when you do this for a long enough period of time, it becomes a habit. And then the personal standard is so ingrained in yourself that you don't need too much to think about it. It just like happens like this. For me, it's just like cold showers. I've been taking cold showers for like 5 years, every morning. I mean, I stopped for a couple of days here and there when I was on vacation, when it was not practical. Like, most days, I just did a cold shower. And it was very easy at one point in the summer. And I stop and then I go back up, and it's very hot. In the winter, especially at 5 a.m., it's very, very hot. And it's great. But it's just like, even though I don't want to do it in the morning, I still do, because it's just like a standard. It's just like an automation. It's just so ingrained in me. It's just my identity, right? And this is, I think, the most profound level, identity. When I went past midnight, I slept at 3 a.m. I just, like, my identity was scattered. Like, I was like, this is an attack on me. This is an attack on my identity. It's impossible. Like I'm going to die if I do this. Like, my identity was attached to, okay, I'm the guy that sleeps early, like relatively early. And now I'm sleeping at 3 a.m. Oh my God. Right? So it was like a contradiction. And when I saw that, I was like, boom, resolved. Can't take this anymore. Let's get back up. Hope this serves you. Really apply it. Those are the 3 steps. Let me define them back again for you. 1, defining the essential action to take. So I will refer you back to the last podcast. Last episode, I believe it was episode 24. And now this one is 25, if it's the right number. Watch it. Very useful. I'll also tell you about decision making. Very, very useful. Number 2, get yourself in a bad situation that you would hate and despise, be disgusted by. Now you can just get disgusted by it and just decide to just no more, because you imagine yourself. If you see something that shocks you, if you imagine yourself in a bad situation in the future and you see yourself, okay, continuing down this rabbit hole, you're going to change. You're going to, okay, oh, this is impossible. I can't take this. No. This is not me. And boom, you shift your identity and your personal standards and you go back up. And it takes you to say those, step 3, say those 2 words and mean them. 2 words are, it could be a variation of things. I'm done. Honestly, this is what I'm thinking. I'm done. Never again. That's it. Those combinations. It's just like the emotion of resolved, right? Those are the 3 steps. Use them. Actually, please implement them. If you do, they will help you out. If you don't, they won't. And so I wrote a couple of notes on that. I think it's pretty useful. Get so tired of your situation that you won't take it anymore. So basically what I said, if you want to change your life, you want to fast track your growth, here's one of the best ways to do that. Have some guts. Decide to be courageous and put yourself in the worst situation. So put yourself in a situation you just wouldn't take it, as I told you about, and lose your discipline. Make yourself be completely tired of your situation. Be mad at yourself, so that you are able to get yourself back and feel those 2 words and mean them. Never again. Emotion of resolved, like being resolved. Okay, next thing. I was dreaming. While I was sleeping really well at 9 p.m., I had a dream. And this dream was just me playing a video game, a really weird video game that I've never seen. And I was really good at it. And I really liked it. And at one point I was, I was in the class playing a video game on a computer, and I was getting good at it. I understood, okay, this is how you play it. Oh, okay, if I do this, I get to the next level. Oh, okay, I see that he's going to do that. Like there was an enemy, right? He was fighting me. It was a fight game. And at one point I knew he was going to land it with his move, like punch me or something. And boom, I knew how to respond. I knew where to attack. I knew how to play the game. And so when I woke up the next morning at 5 a.m., I'm telling you, 5 a.m. is a magic number. It's just insane. A lot of things happened to me, was very, very useful. When I woke up, I had this realization. I had this, thoughts in my mind. I feel like life is like a game. I feel like business is like a game. All you need to do is, and I think it had to do with, I saw a video of a YouTuber that was talking about playfulness with your goals. And I think it's very useful to be playful and to treat business like a game, because it ultimately is just like a game. You got some rules. If you know and understand the game, well, you can win at it. You can just do the things that get you the results. And you learn the rules, you understand how it works, and then you're able to win at it continually. And then once you win, because when you lose, it's not very fun. When you win, it starts becoming addictive. Just like a game. When I used to lose at games, on my video games, when I was a kid, I didn't like it. I hated losing. And so it was not very addictive for me to lose. When I was losing, the video games was not really addictive. When I was winning, it became very addictive. And so it was not that hard to work hard, to play hard at the game. And this is when I remembered that, okay, I don't have only one game. The big game of life is, in the big game of life, there are multiple games. There's the game of business, your career, whatever, the thing that makes you money, your projects. This is one game. But there's also the other games. The game of your health, the game of your relationships, the games of a personal life, personal development. The game of all those things sometimes can be jeopardized by you playing too much at the game of business because you've become addicted to it. So I remember that I need to keep respecting my rule of not working too much, not playing at the game too much. Because I did at one point. I worked 12 hours a day on the computer, a lot for long hours, right? And maybe you don't work your business is not on the computer, so maybe it's okay for you to do that. To me, at least, when I was working on the computer, I just hurt my hands. And so I couldn't work anymore, neither in the business, and plus, I lost my health. And plus, I lost my relationships. And plus, I was at one point a little depressed, right? All that because I became addicted to the game of business. So I like to put myself some rules of, okay, this is a game, so it's not high stake, right? You put yourself some rule, you understand the rules, right? And you put yourself some rules to play the game. So it might be a handicap, like it might be something that is not really useful for you to put yourself constraints, but I believe in constraints, you become more creative. And so you focus, because you have less time, so this is what I'm talking to you about. It's putting yourself a rule of, okay, I'm going to work from this hour to this hour, and after I'm done. I can't play the game anymore, because if I do, I'll hurt my other games. And the other games are more fragile. If you lose in the game of health, sometimes you can't get another chance. Or if you do, you take a long time to recover from it, like I did. If you lose some relationships that you really care about, you might not be able to get them back. So, know your priorities and put yourself some rules according to those priorities. If you don't want to lose at all the game, plan and put yourself some rules like me. So I only work 6 hours on my computer for my business, right? So it's just 6 hours, and during those 6 hours, I have 6 hours, so it's not a lot. I used to work like 12 hours a day, so I need to focus a lot. So waking up at 5 a.m. really helps, and do the most important things. If something is really not like high leverage activity, I'm not gonna do that, because if I do, at least I try not to, because if I do, I won't make much progress because I don't have much time. So I'm so restricted that I'm just working faster, and working faster really helps because it just increases the iterations that you can make, right? So you take a lot of actions, you get a lot of feedback, and you can adjust more. And so you just get better faster. Very, very, a better approach to me that is useful to make more progress while working less. I think everybody should do that. If you can. If you can't, just sometimes at the beginning, I believe it's useful to work more, but don't jeopardize your health at the same time and your relationships if you don't want to. And so I would to myself, don't take things too seriously as well. Take time to rest. Sometimes you're just moving too much in too many directions, and it helps sometimes to settle and to, okay, understand the game, understand where you are and where you want to go, and get a little update in your mind that, okay, this is where I am, this is where I want to go. Am I on the right direction? Okay. Am I on the right direction? I think so. I'm making progress. All right, cool. So let's keep going. And because you know right now that you're on the right track, you're more motivated, and so you act faster. And so you get more iterations. And so you make more progress, and so you better your life. And so, yeah, That's already a pretty good amount of good things. And if you're not, well, you get to, okay, discover what's the right direction. What's the right way to go about it? Also, I put the YouTube app on my phone again. Big mistake. I needed to use it for something, and I ended up going on YouTube for like 3 hours in one day. It was like insane. And I wrote this down. Prevent yourself the death of your dreams because of your distractions. So I saw myself getting back to the point I was like 5 years ago. I was completely like mindlessly addicted to YouTube mostly, actually, and maybe some other social media as well. And this can destroy your dreams. Like, actually, when you have a social media app on your phone, when you have those addictive substances in your mind, like the dopamine that you get from the apps, it's just like a drug, like a real physical, like tangible drug. It's the exact same thing. You get hooked on that, and you feel the need in your mind, like you feel the pull that it has, like it gives you, like it gives you, like it pulls you in there, like in its world. Like I'm talking about the app. It pulls you in its world, and it just hooks you. It hooks you with interest, with curiosity, with all those things, because people make money if you are on the app, so they're going to make everything possible to get you hooked on that. And there are scientists just working on that to make the app more addictive. And one of the best way to do that is just by increasing the colors, increasing the amount of dopamine that you get from the colors. So I found that if you want to, putting yourself on black and white mode helps tremendously. Now, you can still get you like hooked on because of the other sensory information and the other sensory information, what you see, what you hear, what you feel when you're scrolling or anything like this, right? But when you have those apps on your phone, you're actually making a bet. You're not making a bet. You're making a transaction that right now, what you have right now inside of you is your dreams, your goals, what you want, your desires. You're exchanging those desires for the dopamine that you get. So you give the desire to the app, and the app gives you dopamine. And this is exactly what happens. Like when you go and when you're addicted to something, all your desires, other than that, all your dreams, you don't want them anymore. You don't have desire toward them anymore, because why would you? Well, your brain is a survival like machine. If it sees that, okay, I can get a lot of dopamine from that very easily and cheaply, why would I go just like work so hard and just hopefully get a little dopamine from a 10-year goal? You won't make this trade. So just delete them. Honestly, I do. I have no social media app on my phone. Nothing. If you need to, go on your computer. If you need to, go on your phone, on the navigator, on Chrome, and go there on black and white mode, right? Only enable it when you need really to see the colors, to get some information, and then put it back on. Because this way you get as little dopamine as possible. I'm telling you, you feel like, okay, this guy is crazy. He's just like totally like hooked on. There are tons of people that succeed without doing this thing. They do, but they do despise of this. And maybe they don't have the amount of desire that they have for their dreams. Maybe they don't have their quality, their discipline, all the other things that made them successful, that they can sustain to go on social media while doing those things. But I'm telling you, it's much easier for you to just do the things the right way, go about your goals without having this weight on your shoulders. Like, just take this big heavy jacket off of you, and you'll be able to run faster. Just an advice. I'm doing this. Please do as well if you want to achieve your goals and dreams as fast as possible, because it's just like it's more profitable for you to do that. I just don't see why you don't want to do that, except when I remember that I was hooked on. And so if you're hooked on, you might not want to do that. So ask yourself, am I hooked on? Could I do this? Make yourself a challenge. Why not? Just try it for a week and see how it goes. Now, you will feel deprived. You will feel like, man, I need a little scrolling here. I need a little video now. I did see some colors, but when you get used to it, like, you're going to see the benefits. Like, you're free. Like, if you chase freedom because you're an entrepreneur, or you want to be free, really, freedom is just not just money. It's just like being free of yourself, of your vices, of your like cheap desires right now. Oh my God, I just want to take this one donut. Oh my God, I'm not going to talk about donuts right now because I'm just so hungry. I'm still in carnivore, if you're wondering, if you have seen my other podcast, for my health. And I'm tired. Anyway, challenge for you. List anything that you could make a decision on, and then set time to make them with the framework I told you about in last podcast. So yeah, this one. Sometimes you have a lot of decisions that you are keeping in your mind, and those things make you overwhelmed, makes you feel like, oh my God, I have so much to do. You don't know what to do. You're stuck. And at one point, it's just like you're self-sabotaging because you have so much on your plate, so much in your mind. List down, okay, what are all the decisions that I have in the back of my mind that I'm not making on a daily basis? List them out. And list the most important ones that will free the most space in your mind. And then go back, watch my last podcast, and act on it. Like, take the formula. Maybe there's a Google Doc right there that you download for free. Apply it. And just resolve all those decisions. It's very, very useful. If you like this podcast, like and subscribe. Pay the fee if you got some value out of this. So share the show. I'll see you on another podcast. Click here. Whatever. Bye.